Hey everybody, today we're going to be starting the new unit, and the first section is all about transversals and what transversals do, the kind of angles they create, and the relationships that exist between said angles. So we're going to start off by talking about what exactly a transversal is. Okay, so you can this should be in your Google Classroom, this document. So transversal is a line that intersects two or more lines at different points. Okay? So, we look at, let me zoom here so you can see that a little better. Sorry. A line that intersects two or more lines at different points. Okay, so this is an example of a transversal right here, right? Line N would be considered a transversal because it crosses these two lines at two different points. And what it does is it creates a series of angles here. We have 4 angles up here, and we have 4 angles up here. Okay, so now there's names for these. Okay, corresponding angles. Okay, and the definition for that is angles that in the same position between a transversal. What does that mean, in the same position? It kind of means they slide. Okay, so for an example, look at 2. You see 2 here. If you were to slide this angle down, it would land roughly on top of 6. Okay, now when the lines that are crossed are parallel, there's some things that happen. We can't talk about it just yet, but you'll see what I mean fairly soon. Okay, but 2 would be considered corresponding to 6. 4 would be considered to correspond to 8, 3 would be to 7, and 1 would be to 5. So examples, we'll say angle 1 corresponds to, let's see, angle 1, angle 5. Okay? Alright, alternate interior angles. 2 angles that are both in the interior and opposite sides of the transversal. So, first of all, this is actually the interior. Okay? It's the interior because it's inside, it's in between the two lines that are being crossed. And obviously if this is the interior, this here and this here, this would be considered the exterior. Okay? Exterior. So the exterior would be outside the lines, interior would be inside the lines. Fairly straightforward. Okay, so 2 angles that are both in the interior and opposite sides of the transversal. So what that means is this transversal, right? This angle is on the interior, as is this, and they're both on the opposite sides. So this one would, angle 3 would be an alternate interior angle to angle 6, and angle 4 would be considered an alternate interior angle to angle 5 because they're on opposite sides of the transversal while also being in the interior. Okay? So we're going to say angle 4 and angle 5. So angle 4 is alternate, I'm going to use some notation here, alternate interior angle to angle, let's see, 4 is alternate interior to 5. Okay. Now alternate exterior, okay, it's going to be very similar, only instead of interior, it's going to be on the outside. So 2 angles that are both in the exterior and opposite sides of the transversal. So angle 8 is on the exterior and it's opposite to angle 1, same as 2 and 7, right? They're on the opposite side of the transversal while also being on the exterior. So angle 2 is alternate, I'm going to use some notation here, alternate exterior angle to angle 7. Okay? Consecutive interior, also known as same side. You'll see it used both terms used. So let me zoom in a little more. So same side or consecutive interior angles, 2 angles that are both in the interior and same side of the transversal. So, okay, they're on the interior and they're on the same side. So here, 6 and 4, right? And then 5 and 3, because they're on the same side of the transversal while also being interior angles. So we're going to say angle 4 and angle 5 are consecutive interior angles. And remember, you could also see it expressed as same side angles, same side interior angles as well. Both terms are used. All right, so those are the different types of angles we're going to talk about, right? So that we have a transversal That's a line crossing two other lines, and it creates this relationship that exists. So let's go ahead and go to the next part here. It's going to ask you to go ahead and name some corresponding angles. And I'm not going to do this with you. I'll do a few. I'll tell you that. I'll do one, but you have to come up with different answers. So the ones I'm going to write here are going to be some of the answers, but there's additional options as well. So that way you can still do it on your own. Okay. So corresponding, again, remember they're in kind of like the matching slot. So 13, if I slide that over, it's going to correspond to 9. So angle 13 and angle 9. But you can go ahead, and there's going to be actually 3 other possibilities for this one. Okay, alternate interior angles. So here's the interior, right? This is the interior of the two lines. Alternates, they're on opposite sides. So I'm going to go with 11 and 13. And again, you can go ahead and put a different answer. There's another possible answer for that one. Alternate exterior, so this is the outside again, right? So we'll go with 16 and 12. So angle 16 and angle 12. And again, there's another answer you can do for that one. Same side. So look, they actually used a different term here. So they use same side interior, but remember, it's the same as consecutive. These are the same thing. Because we like to make things confusing in mathematics. We like to give you multiple terms for the same thing, multiple answers. Oh yeah, why make it simple, right? So same side interior angles, we're going to go ahead with 10 and 13. But again, there's another answer for that you can go ahead and find. Angle 13. Okay, the next part, it's going to ask you to identify the transversal connecting to each pair of angles, then classify the relationship between each pair of angles. So we'll do one of these together. We'll go ahead and do 15. So this is interesting. We have a whole bunch of stuff going on here. So angle 4 and angle 10. So angle 4 is right here. Angle 10 is here. Okay, and let's identify what it's asking us to do. Identify the transversal. So we need to identify the transversal that creates those angles, and then classify the relationships. The first thing is going to be the transversal. So the transversal in this case, let's find out. So let's go ahead and zoom in here. So you can see the transversal here. You can actually see it if you look at it. This transversal, that's creating the angles, right? This is the transversal, and these are the two lines it's crossing. So our transversal in this case would be line G. Okay, the camera's being annoying here. There we go. So line G. And then what's the relationship that exists? Well, they're both in the interior, right? This would be considered the interior in this case. You can actually kind of ignore that line to make it easier. If you ignore that and you can't see it, it actually makes this problem far easier. And they're in alternate sides, so it would be alternate interior. So alternate interior angles. Okay. All right, let's look at the next part. Let's see. It is right here. Okay, so we're actually, you know what? We're not going to go to that part. We're going to go to that part in another video. So anyway, all right. So yeah, on your own, if you could, try to finish these other examples. So go with the other. Let me zoom back out here. Try to find the other answers to this, and also try to find the other answers to this, and we can check those in class when we see each other. All right, great. Thanks, guys.